Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Deiser Connection. I hope you're doing great. We're really happy because in a few days the Atlassian Team 24 will be on its way. We'll be on and we're really happy about it. And we cannot wait to see everyone and to start discussions, and let's hope it's a great one. In this special episode, we wanted to talk about something that at least for me, I believe that it will take a big part of the conversations and the discussions at Team 24. And I'm talking about AI. When Fam and Andy proposed this idea, I thought it was a really good idea in order to share that knowledge and to start discussions about what are we finding with AI nowadays, what are we expecting about AI for the future, and several other conversations that we believe are going to take place during Atlassian Team, and maybe you're already talking about it. So for this special episode, we have Fam and Andy, who you sure already know, and Manon, Soubis-Camy. She's also an Atlassian community leader and an Atlassian creator, and she will have a talk at Atlassian Team about AI with other participants in that discussion. So do look for that because it's gonna be really interesting. For now, I'll leave you to it, okay? What we recorded just a few weeks ago. So there you go. So it's been some time now that AI has taken the spotlight as a game changer. But is AI simply writing for us, or should we take it up a notch? Just a little bit, we're here with two Atlassian community leaders. Manon Soubis-Camy, she will be attending Atlassian Team this year, and she will have a talk there. Welcome, Manon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. And on the other side, we have Fun Man Andy. He will also be attending Las Vegas with everyone that will be there. So it's gonna be, and we're gonna be talking about different kinds of stuff. But today we are going to talk about AI and should we take it up a notch? So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that we have in mind, when you decided to talk about the AI, this AI thing that is going on. You can see AI doing several tricks already, but is that change that AI is bringing as transformative as we would like? So who would like to go first? I'm gonna let Manon go first.
Thanks.
Don't worry.
So yeah, that's a big question. And we actually already discussed it a bit with Andy, so I think I almost know what he's going to say. But I think we agreed on it. I think AI, it's a good start for now. We can use what is generated by AI. We can use it to generate drafts, to generate, first versions or second versions. But you definitely cannot really generate final versions with AI yet. I think it really needs a human touch to stay authentic and genuine. You need to either really guide AI to say, okay, this is your style, this is your tone, this is your voice, you should act like blah, 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 and be concise. Always tell him or her or it to be concise. Yeah, so I think it's really a support for now, but it's not as transformative in a way that we can't use it on the first try. We have to rework it in order to actually use it.
Mm-hmm. So, and what do you think about that, Fun Man Andy? I was going to say Andy, but I read your name right there. So, Andy.
yes,
So,
which is good. I think that's better. I
no
think
worries.
for me right now, we're currently stuck in a rapid drop into the trough of disillusionment. So, for people who don't know, there's this very cool book called Crossing the Chasm. And it talks about different industries. Every industry ever that has ever existed in the world, there's this big sort of curve up excitement, lots of investment, everything's getting very, very trendy. It hits a peak and then it drops dramatically. And then it goes into the trough of disillusionment, and profitability takes a long time for that sort of bell curve. So there's a first bell curve, it's really sharp, it drops very hard, and then it goes down, and it takes a long time to go back up into, you know, finding new investment and finding profitability and everything like that. And for me, I have a lot of talks with people who are massively into AI right now that we are, in my opinion, we're only just coming up to the peak of that first bell curve, and there's a huge drop coming. There's going to be a lot of disappointed people, and it's going to take a lot of time for companies to cross that chasm. And with my experience coming from a few years back, I was in the augmented reality industry, and I joined that industry after it was just coming out of that trough of disillusionment. And it was very difficult and it was very hard because the trendy mode was over. People were realizing, oh, how do we actually apply augmented reality to real world scenarios and everything like that? So for me, there's a lot to say. So that would just be my opening statement for now. I think that AI is stuck in its trendy marketing, everyone wants to talk about it mode, and there's a lot more to digest in this session that we're having right now about that.
Okay, that's really good and it's really interesting. So, you think that it's going down? So, but that is not yet going down, but you identify this kind of curve, and it's
Yes.
really good. And Manon also says, the good thing is that we're not saying that AI is the best thing in the world, because everyone knows that, everyone knows that, everyone that has used it, that has a little bit of contact with AI already, says that it's not the best. Manon says it still needs some work, and Andy says that it will reach that point of the curve that he just said. So it's really interesting. I would like to see the progress of that curve. So let's move on to the next stage. Do you think that there's any way to leverage human expertise and AI, which will help us on problem solving and decisions making? Manon, please go ahead.
I think it does, but you need to be like realistic onto what AI can bring. Like for example, I know that I often use AI or like ChatGPT or Atlassian Intelligence to challenge my thoughts and my drafts as well. Like I just asked AI, please like act as I don't know, a VP of marketing or anything, and ask me more questions or challenge what I just thought. And I think it's really helping me to save some time. Like instead of just asking a lot of people, what do you think about that? I can ask AI first. And of course, it's not going to replace my colleagues, but it will save me some time, especially since I'm in France and a lot of my colleagues are not in France, in a different time zone. So it's really helping quite a lot. But as I said, I think you have to be realistic. Like it can challenge you, but I don't think it can really like make decisions for you yet. And I guess it's a good thing. I guess that's another question. But yeah, I think as long as you don't expect AI to do everything for you and to tell you exactly what you should do, I think it's helping in decision making.
Yeah, exactly. And what about you, Andy?
I think that there is an interesting look at how humans and AI are interacting right now. I think a lot of people there's a big hype as well in the media, right? So there is this sort of like, oh, are we going to be replaced by robots and stuff? And if you look at it, well, actually, Internet of Things already started doing that a long time ago. The current trend is AI's in the news, people are talking about it and everything like that. But if you look at Internet of Things, then AI has already been around for a long time. One of my favorite case studies, I can't remember if they were if they are a customer of a company I worked for, PTC, but Tesla themselves, the cars are recording data constantly, and they have these big data sets per car. It's being sent over the house Wi-Fi at night back to the factory. The factory, not people, but the factory itself is analyzing the data, and then during the night is sending information back to the cars. And this story is 12, 13 years old or something. So when it comes to AI and humans and the interaction and everything, it's not really new, actually. There's a lot of hype in the news media, and the general masses are now hearing about it. But the trendsetters, the early adopters, they knew about all of this stuff decades ago and were already doing it in the Internet of Things. One of my favorite conversations with people is it's coming to content creation. Manon talked about using AI to help challenge thoughts and stuff like that. And I don't have any AI assisting me with anything like that. Obviously I've been around a long time, 4 decades on this planet and counting. I've got a lot of experience, and I've built that experience over time. And on top of that experience is sort of being an English native speaker and stuff like that. So a lot of times people come to me and go, "Oh, check out this AI post I wrote on LinkedIn. Could you do better?" And I grab their phone, tag the right people, use the right hashtags, put on the right photo, etc. And then the LinkedIn post I write for them performs better in terms of impressions, likes, and comments than what the AI recommended. On the other hand, that's not an indicator that AI is no good. It's up against Andy, who's been around. I've been working for including all my part-time work as a teenager. It's almost 30 years, right? So that's what AI is up against. A lot of it is centered around, a lot of the hype is centered around this content creation. But I think from a machine learning perspective, AI has been around now for almost 60 years, actually. So it's very prominent and very in the face of people right now. But it's got when we talk about that trough of disillusionment and stuff, there's a long way to go before it is really properly mainstream, and we are really having proper talks. It could be 20 years before we're really talking about humans being replaced by robots and stuff like that. As we are all part right now of the Atlassian ecosystem, and specific to Atlassian intelligence, I like to very naughtily, because you know me, I'm a poster boy of Atlassian, but I'm also the biggest critique. Atlassian intelligence is nothing more than just administrator intelligence. So as a great example, when you use Assist in Slack, and then you connect all of your tickets, and you can do all of that kind of automation and have a lot of answers provided. Hey, I'm a new employee, I need a security pass to building X in London or something like that. There's so much admin workflow set up that it's actually so, like, AI can't exist right now without human intervention. If we look at the Tesla story, there was a lot of human setup and a lot of human intervention. So that whole topic of humans being replaced by AI, how can humans work with AI? There's still a long way to go before that's really, really mature. At the moment, I like to call current AI that's trending in products and in platforms and stuff like that, I like to call it automation on steroids, because it's not AI, it's not machine learning. But on the other hand, I'm also not anti-AI. People mistake my statements and my thoughts on AI as, oh, well, you don't believe in it. It's like, well, I spent nigh on 5 years in augmented reality and IoT, so we were using AI very, very well back then. And I'm not anti it at all, but I'm just, once the company says, Andy, connect your brain to this computer and it's going to clone you and it's going to do all your work, and then you just go skateboarding, surfing, travel the world whilst your bank account just gets filled up, that's when I'll go. And now we've gone back on the bell curve, and we've gone up, and we're at that, we've crossed the chasm, right? So that's my statement, big time when it comes to humans and AI together in collaboration.
Okay, that's also really interesting. Do you think that regulation can path a fair and ethical road, for AI usage? Go ahead, Manon.
Short answer is yes. I think we definitely need at least some rules. I know that a few months back, a lot of AI guidelines were being shared on communities and just on the internet, and everyone was really, really, really happy to get these guidelines, for companies mostly, because I think at companies sometimes you don't even know that your employees are using AI, and you don't know what they're doing with it, as they're sharing a lot of confidential data. I guess so. There's a high chance they are doing it and you don't even know it. So yeah, I think we need rules. in a company at least. I don't know for like country-wise and like world-wise. I guess we need some as well, but at least in your company, I think you should have some rules because otherwise everyone is going to do whatever they want and you won't really have any control on how AI is used. And I know that sometimes some people don't even allow themselves to actually use AI. And if they had some rules, some guidelines, maybe they would. And so maybe they could do their job better. And some people are maybe sharing too many data with AI, so maybe they would be more conscious on what they share with AI. So yeah, short answer is yes, I think at least in your company, you should have some rules to guide your AI usage.
Okay, on a certain level, you specify, the company, at least the company. That's a really good example, because it could be regulations, worldwide or countrywide. But I believe that's something
I don't
that's
think we
another
can do a
topic.
lot about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's another topic. That's a big topic. What about
Yeah.
you, Andy?
I think that for me, Manon covered the whole security and the compliance really well already. I think the only thing I could potentially add to that is how does AI make us more efficient and effective in our decision making? One of the sort of biggest pet peeves I've ever had in my life is when I've been working in commercial teams and every week there's sort of the sales review, so everyone has to go in with that, there's this PowerPoint presentation and each new project or each new customer has a slide deck and everyone has to put their info on, and there's a whole ceremony and it's all hierarchy and it's all pompous, blah blah blah, whatever. um if you ask me, like, well, how, with the whole VP scenario, how can we make better decisions that we don't have to go in endless meetings and people don't have to fill in forms and people don't have to, oh, my deal's 1 million a year, and oh, what are the risks, what are this, what are that, da, 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 da. Because at the same, what I noticed about decision making with humans, and in particular machine learning, I think the key word throughout all of this AI piece is actually machine learning, how the machines learn to do what we do so that we're left to do better stuff, better decisions, etc. Right? If I'm a VP and someone comes to me and is like, "Oh, there's this new customer and they gave us a cool 4-star review and we owe them a $100 tremendous, gift voucher." It's like I don't need to make that decision. Even AI doesn't need to make that decision. That's just something that's. But if there's hardcore decisions where we're analyzing data and we're looking at performance over weeks, months, trying to identify where we can be more efficient, like completely scrapping that meeting, right? And then AI just handles everything. If you've got HubSpot, if you've got Salesforce, if you've got all your deals in a row, you've got all your ducks in a line, and AI from HubSpot can just go, all of these are approved, but I'm flagging these two. That needs the attention of the VP, because what we've learned, AI have learned from machine learning following that VP, is that every now and then this one gets flagged and that's the one that they discuss. Everything else can just be approved. And I think that that's just a very basic example of efficiency and effectiveness, and how machine learning can improve our lives and make everything better. If we look at, for example, chatbots, right? So first line customer service chatbots, those have been around now. What is it, 2024? I think my first interaction with an online chatbot was as early as 2008 or something. And I didn't even realize I was talking to a chatbot. So again, we go back to how long has AI been around for? But again, how does it help us make better decisions and stuff like that? So specifically here in the Netherlands, there was 3 companies. One of them's Bol.com. It's the sort of like Amazon's biggest competitor here in the Netherlands. They managed to make e-commerce more successful than Amazon in the Netherlands due to rules and regulations way back when. So they're one of 3 companies that very successfully introduced chatbots. But what they were successful in is they took anyone that the chatbot replaced, first line customer service and stuff, and they put them elsewhere in the company. Maybe second line support if there's a serious problem, you need to talk to a human, maybe somewhere else entirely in the organization, different role and stuff like that. So the chatbots there, yes, it did replace people, but the decision making is now way better, because people, if it's just what's my order number, why is my shipment delayed, I need a refund, that stuff can all be handled by AI, can be handled by the chatbot. But the moment that there's something, bigger going on, then there's people, and of course as well, like I think a lot of people, if I'm the VP and we're introducing AI into the company, I'm not going to be looking at, oh, AI can replace people, will lower our head costs. No, look at where people can be redistributed, be retrained into the organization and help improve profitability, because anyone staying will be more empowered and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of topics in one go, talking
Yeah.
about just, if I'm the VP and decision making with AI and stuff. But yeah, just to try and keep it as short as possible.
Well, that's okay. Those are really big topics, because also thinking about what does the future look like, for AI, all these things come up, the training the workers in a company that decides to work with AI. Imagine, I've been working in customer support. I worked in customer support for 5 years, and I believe that an AI might be able to help in those kind of cases. Maybe a chatbot might be able to help, but imagine that AI could read the logs that the user sends, and could analyze, and identify the error in those logs, and then suggest the how you say a correction in the code and everything. That would be a lot of time that it would be saved,
Mhm.
but someone has to train that AI in order to solve or to identify and suggest that correction, right? And the thing is that it's not going to be the same error, the same mistake. It's not going to be the same every time. There's going to be many mistakes. It's super, how would you call, it's super, it's a high number of possibilities. There's many possibilities with that. And I think that if we're looking into the future of AI, I believe that we're gonna be looking into trying to, if, how you say, save even more time. It's not gonna be like super, how you say, super futuristic things. That it's gonna bring us somewhere, or something like that. Maybe in the really far future, but saving more time in terms of this kind of situations. I think that we're gonna see that in a matter of 2 or 3 years. What do you think about that?
Mhm.
What is the future of AI for you, Manon?
Well, back to what you said, AI needs to be trained. I hope that the future of AI is that AI is getting better and better, because I think we all saw examples of AI, like maybe ChatGPT or Copilots, suggesting fixes that are not good. Like it's basically an error, it's wrong. And when an AI tells you that, it's really like, okay, I'm sure of it because AI told me that. And yeah, you need to challenge what it said. You need to think like, is it really the right fix for my issue? Did ChatGPT just invent a whole lot of events and just told me, like, yeah, garbage? So yeah, I hope AI is going to get better and better. And more importantly, I hope that AI like will be able to delegate routine tasks, like basic tasks, to AI. Just like Andy said, with like first line customer support, that we will be able to let AI handle all of that stuff, and that humans will be able to focus on higher value tasks and on new ideas and creation and stuff like that.
Exactly. Good. Thank you very much. What about you, Andy?
For me, the current state of AI is that a lot of people have just gone into ChatGPT, connected to their product, and then slapped AI on the end of their product name. Um, so again, it's still a little bit automation on steroids. I think the key is always going to be, and I think people should really learn from the augmented reality industry and what it's done the last 20 years and its maturity. And that's the key word for me, is just going to come, the key term is always going to come back to machine learning. The more the machine learns how somebody does their job, how they fix it, right? Fede, you talked about fixing the
Yes,
error in the
exactly.
code and stuff. The more AI is going to have the great capability to just do what we can do take the more mundane tasks away and leave us to do the really super cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that to me is once I like to joke with some friends of mine in an AI circle we have. That I keep saying, oh, I'm just waiting for someone to use the term real AI, and there's this like within 5 years, there's just this new term someone comes up with, trademarks it, real AI, because now you're no longer having an admin or, a hardcore full stack developer or something building out these foundation blocks and stuff for AI. So at some point, real AI will come, and it's very much about learning, and it's one thing that I dream of. I'm not technical enough to do it myself, so maybe someone will watch this and now steal my idea for a marketplace app. But every week I see somewhere, Slack community leaders or online community or Reddit or something, someone comes away and says, oh, I've just finished cleaning up Jira. I found projects open for 3 years untouched. I found sprints open for 2 years, etc., etc., etc. And admins have this painful process of optimization and cleaning it. And there's some very cool tools out there on the marketplace for optimization. And one that I've actually worked for as a freelancer, Instance Auditor by Renware, but obviously other apps are available, like Optimizer from AppFox. But these are kind of the tools that interest me the most, because wherever somebody is saying, oh, that just took me too much time, and I hear that it's a monotonous, repetitive task, that to me is like, for the next 2 years, that's where AI will deliver a lot of value in learning people's repetitive, mundane tasks, and saying stuff like, hey, you went into Jira and you closed every project, and you bulk closed every task older than 7 years. That seems like a policy. Is that right? Yes, boom. And then AI writes itself the program to do bulk closing. Same with Confluence. If you Confluence Cloud, there's a really bad, I don't know if it's a bug or just a bad feature. You can copy a page, you can delete the attachments in edit mode, but on the file side behind the scene, it doesn't delete the attachments, it just makes a copy. So it will, every time you copy a page or whatever, or you don't use templates, you create bulk attachments, right? So again, that's the same with optimization and AI. If you go into Confluence Cloud and you keep deleting all these attachments across the whole system, is AI learning that and saying, this is what you do on a daily or weekly basis, I will take that over from you. I've learned the patterns of why and how you're deleting or archiving or whatever to help you keep your systems clean. So that's one aspect specific to Atlassian platforms that I'm quite interested in the next few years, of how AI can help improve that, especially with machine learning.
Yeah, that's super cool. Learning paths, and acting upon those paths, and creating different usages that will allow us to save some time is really good. For example, there's other kinds of actions that AI is taking right now. That whenever whenever you write something right now with Atlassian intelligence, you can choose the tone that you would like to bring to a text, and the AI will read it, and change that tone using different words, and so on. We talked about this a few minutes back, but I think that it's really, really useful right now in terms of changing the tone for approaching customers, maybe in a service management, maybe in service management, maybe in a customer support portal, and I think that reading those kind of messages, reading and trying to figure it out whether the user, the client, or even the agent, might be angry, obviously the customer is not happy, when they write a customer support ticket, but maybe, can help you. We have Deiser developed Go Mood, a few months back, maybe 7-8 months, maybe 9 months back, and it's really good. But we're thinking about, it's really good. I believe that's a really good idea. It's still, as we say in Spanish, I'm gonna literal translate right now. It's in diapers, meaning that it's super young, it's a super young app. It's a baby, and and we're really looking into what might be next with it, with what information we can provide the user, the agent, everyone with that, with reading that kind of sentiment, that emotion, not going too far, because we don't want to know, well, the customer is sad or is super sad, he needs a really big hug. No, it's like, okay, so let's try to solve his problem, and make him happier. The happier the better, so we can
Mm.
create fans of our apps, and we're looking into that, and it's really interesting. But the more you enter that realm of AI, the bigger it gets, you get you get into one big balloon of knowledge, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you don't know where to go. So we're right now, we're in that moment of trying to create a path right now, and let's see if it's happening. And I think that it's going to happen, and it's going to be really cool in the future,
Mm.
but and also I have the last question, and this is an extra ball. So as we mentioned before, we have Atlassian team 24, right around the corner, like less than 4 weeks. Do you think that AI is gonna take every single, is gonna take the protagonism, is gonna take the lead role in every single how you say chat, in every single conversation? What do you think, Manon?
I don't think it will take over all the discussions, but I think it will be a big part of a lot of discussions. Yeah, you can just see that they added a specific AI track to the sessions. I think it's the first time. I don't think last year we already had an AI track.
Mhm.
So I guess that Atlassian will have a lot of AI features to share with us or AI updates. But I think, like, if you look at data center customers or just on-prem customers, they don't have AI yet, maybe. So of course we have other discussions other than AI. But now that I think about it, maybe we'll talk about AI, just saying, oh, we don't have access to AI, and how can we have access to AI, and what we could do with AI. So yeah, maybe you're right, and maybe AI will take over everything, actually.
That's a common theme at Summit/Team the last few years. Data
Yeah,
center doesn't have ...
Yeah.
exactly. It's an impediment thing. Yeah, exactly.
But
So
Manon, what's your sorry, Feder, Manon, what was you're doing an AI talk, right?
Yes,
At
I am.
Team. What's the title and who you're doing it with?
The title is really long, but it's about how teams can use AI, like from engineering to program management, marketing, and leadership. I'll be there with Ashley, Daniela, and Finch from Atlassian, and we'll all be sharing some tips on how you can use Atlassian Intelligence to do your jobs better, and yeah, some real life use cases. And we'll also have kind of a roundtable at the end, a bit like this podcast actually, just to share what we think around AI and the point of view of each of us. And it's
nice,
on May 2nd.
Yeah,
nice,
cool.
nice, perfect. So, and what do you think, Andy? Are we going to talk about AI a lot during this team?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a heavy central theme. For me, what's interesting as well, though, is just whenever I travel, as everyone knows, I'm a bit addicted to traveling and going to events and stuff like that. Sure, a lot of it we talk about AI and everything like that, but what I find really interesting kind of goes back to the whole if you're a VP, decision making and stuff like that. What I find really interesting is how no one talks about AI solving their problems. As human beings, there's a lot of complaining about, oh, my boss doesn't empower me enough, or my performance review is bad, or our team's working so hard and the other team's not working hard, etc., etc. So I think that there is still a lot to be desired in terms of how um, so humans can work better with energy and integrity, and it's not going to come from AI. So whether or not we're talking about, whether at team talking only about AI, I think that there is still a major human factor to businesses and running successful businesses that comes down to human interaction. So the AI is there. And if I was a VP of, say, a 5,000 strong corporate, or part of the SLT or something, I'd be very interested in AI and what it could do. But for me, genuinely, there's probably only about 5% of all companies in the world are really ready to invest heavily in AI and start using it as part of their internal mechanisms. Every other company, and it's a bit bold to say, but people really need to look in the mirror and be honest with themselves. 95% of companies have too many other problems to deal with. Low employee satisfaction, workflows are not correct. Maybe they like even something as simple as like there's no good templates for their teams to use, or like if sales, every time sales is taking an old contract and having to change it and stuff like that. So AI can be important for those companies, but I feel like a lot of companies still really struggle with the basics. My favorite thing to talk about is the New Zealand rugby team. So the most successful sports team of all time is the New Zealand rugby team from 2010 to 2019. Like it's on stats on paper and stuff. There's someone analyzed every sports team in the world in history, and they are the ones that maintained the number one spot the most, won the most World Cups, best points averages, blah blah blah, most wins and stuff like that. And every time any of their coaches or players, top players, have been asked, like, how are you so successful? All they say is, we focus only on the basics, and the other cool, flashy stuff comes. So if there's a company out there where employees aren't happy and employees are like, whatever, and performance is not great, people are like, we need to lower our costs, we need to increase our revenue, and they start getting distracted by AI, it's going to spell disaster. That's like my biggest sort of closing statement to that question. Like, focus on your basics and understand if your company is truly ready to take on AI. Because guarantee you, it's not. 100% it's not.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really cool take. Yeah. So I think we have a lot to talk about right here. I think we as soon as this episode goes out, we will start some conversations about AI, and hopefully we can start a really cool conversation and see where AI is bringing us, and what can be achieved with that nowadays, and in the future. So really looking forward to hearing you and to seeing you in Las Vegas, Manon, and really looking forward to seeing you and meeting you again, Andy, in Las Vegas too. Thank you very much for being here, and that's pretty much it.
Great. Thanks, Fede. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I sincerely hope that you found this interesting and mucho insightful, and hope to see you at team. And if I don't see you at team, don't worry, because we'll update you throughout the entire week with events and with different information and different news that we bring back from Atlassian team. So thank you very much for being there, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.